doing that, hit the like button, throw a comment in, let me know who's on, where you're at, and if you're feeling good. Okay, so we got Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. First plan. I've got my Dublin t-shirt on. I'm a proud Dub. I'm an even more proud Irishman. Okay, so I want to talk just a little bit about Bitcoin, what's happening, give you a few nuggets. If you've been here a couple of years, you will recognize the whiteboard. Okay, she hasn't been out in a couple of years. I haven't found the need to have to use it, but I think we're back in bull market, so it's time to bring the whiteboard back into effect. Any questions, you can put them in the comments, and if I'm able to get at the comments, I will answer those questions. I'm going to use my Bitcoin Teddy to prop up this phone so I can actually reclaim my water bottle, because I'm going to be speaking a lot. We're going to need some water, so we're going to have a bit of crack now this evening. We have a lot to talk about, very positive things happening. Deadly. So Bitcoin's just hitting 87,000, and I was chatting to I'm sort of fortunate enough with the connections I've made over the years that I get to speak to insiders in the space a lot. And I was chatting to a few guys I know who would manage big money, big wealth managers, and part of what I was saying to them was, my job gets really difficult this time of year. It was easy earlier on this year. It was really easy last year. It was really easy the year before that. It's so simple. But as the price starts to run and rally, my job becomes a little bit more difficult. Because of the action. Okay, but it doesn't really. In hindsight, it's just that most people, they have no clue how to invest. So you have to school them. And a lot of people absorb everything that I say on my social media channels, and they'll never become a customer. So they will never get to go through the nuance. They'll never join the Retire Early Club. Okay, so they'll try and work out what I'm trying to say, and we won't be able to work it out individually for them or give them an individual education. So they'll screw it up, and then they'll be mad at me. So first thing I'll say is, nothing I say here is financial advice. Not a financial advisor. They don't wear cool t-shirts like this or Bitcoin hats. Okay, financial advisors, they wear shirts, and that's their gig. Leave them at it. Now, unfortunately, financial advisors have been anti-Bitcoin for years. But luckily, us being Ireland's first Bitcoin consulting company, I shared some pictures of the WhatsApp group there, the chat. Like, our guys are getting really excited. Some of the guys think, it's going to be some of our crew retiring this year. It's going to be some of our crew retiring next year. And that's the beauty of this thing. But they didn't start. Let me be honest. Some of these guys are in my Retire Club 4 years. They've been working on this for 4 years. But that's a pretty good trade, okay, to get yourself out of the rat race in 4 years. Because your traditional route will never get you out of the rat race, okay? I was a little bit disappointed with David McWilliams. Well, I'm being kind there. If I told you what I really thought. Okay, but for years he's been negative towards Bitcoin, and he doesn't care, you see. He's fiat rich in that he earned all his money through the traditional financial system, okay, which is a rent-seeking system. And it works for those at the top, and it doesn't work for those at the bottom, which is the majority sit at the bottom of the financial system and in the middle. And it's really disappointing to me, because anyone who has a large audience, I have a large audience, and that's why I never mislead them to the best of my ability. I never speak about altcoins because there's too much nuance with them, and people can get themselves in trouble so easy. Okay, that doesn't mean we don't speak about it inside our community. Yes, we have plays and we have different strategies that we use, but because I know, just throwing out some live videos, I never even go there. Okay, because I don't want to mislead my community. But I'm disappointed with McWilliams, because if he just spent a little bit of time to study Bitcoin and understand Bitcoin, and instead of thinking he's a know-it-all and trying to think of really smart analogies to try and make himself look more intelligent, if he actually took a little bit of time to speak to the Bitcoiners and take away the negative bias. A lot of people who get rich in fiat world, they're terrified of this Bitcoin thing, because they're like, oh, we're rich, but we don't want to lose our richness, and we don't want these crypto bros to overtake us. Okay. And that's not fair. If you have an audience, you owe it to your audience to be honest, because your opinion is law. And what I was really disappointed with over the weekend is I listened to a recent podcast of his where he's continuing to put out poor information about Bitcoin. He totally doesn't get it, but admitted that he owns it. And I'm so disappointed there, because that's what these people do. They'll say, no, Bitcoin bad, Bitcoin pop, Bitcoin's going to go away. But So everyone who listens, the majority of Ireland, won't touch it with a barge pole. Oh, well, he said. But they don't know that he went and bought a load. That's disappointing. So he wins either way. And that's the unfortunate thing. And that's why I'll just be straight with you, okay? As I always am. So price of Bitcoin is hitting all-time highs, meaning everyone who has ever invested into Bitcoin is richer than when they started. Every single person, provided you didn't screw it up and lose the Bitcoin and buy high and sell low. But if you followed the basic strategy and you took a bit of time or courses to educate yourself on Bitcoin, maybe you joined the Retire Early Club, you're on the way to early retirement, congratulations. Or if you consulted with me, congratulations, we built your early retirement plan. But it's so worthwhile in Bitcoin and investing into education, because the difference between those who make a lot of money and retire early and those who don't is just education. That's the only thing. And Bitcoin's really simple. In a 90-minute consultation, I can take someone who has zero understanding about Bitcoin, and they will leave in 90 minutes with a total personalized plan. Okay, and all they have to do is action it for 4 years. And that's it. So that's how it's not that complicated, Bitcoin. Yeah, you can try and figure it out yourself on the internet, but your time is money. And my best investments has always been into my education. That's the reason why I retired under 40, because I never try and figure stuff out for myself. I pay experts because I value my own time. So rather than me spending the next 4 years trying to understand Bitcoin, make mistakes, waste my time, I just pay an expert. That's what I done. And then I get to make money for 4 years instead of trying to waste my time and money. So investing into yourself is the biggest ROI. It's even better in Bitcoin. So if you haven't invested into yourself, as always, you hear me say this all the time, you are the asset. Invest into yourself, your health and your knowledge. So just to start off with, because Bitcoin's hitting all-time highs now, what is the price of Bitcoin? Let's have a go. I think we're around $87,000. It's like, what do I do? This is when the FOMO happens. If you're new to this channel, click the follow, because I'm 5 years trying to teach us about this thing, and maybe you didn't see these videos, but click the follow button and put a comment in, and you're basically telling the algorithm, I want to see this stuff. Why did you make me miss it for the last 5 years? I could be on my way to early retirement. Okay. So you got to teach the algorithm to tell you this stuff and find out Bitcoin information. Now, we had a message up. If you're not following me on Instagram, Bitcoin with Dinny. Bitcoin with Dinny on Instagram. That's it. Now, I'll never reach out to anyone. So when you get a DM from a Bitcoin with Dinny, how's your trade going? With bad English, please don't be so naive to think I'm messaging you. I reply to messages, but I never cold message anybody. That goes for Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, email. I never cold message anybody. Okay, so don't get scammed out of your money. And the only way to work with us is through our website, bitcoinwithdinny.com, or you drop me a message through the socials and we'll send you on a link. Get on we're offering free Bitcoin consultation with our customer relations expert, Asgard. Some of you guys have probably met Asgard, but if you want to find out how we help, if you've got a business or a personal plan, you can drop us a DM. We'll send you Asgard's calendar, book in, have a consultation with him. Worst that can happen is you're going to know more about Bitcoin and see the opportunity that most people are missing. So Bitcoin, it's still the early days. It's still so early. It's not really early, but it is early. Okay, and that's the beauty of it. What I would say to people is, especially the newer guys, sorry, Instagram is telling me to take a break. Do you not know I'm live? Is create a decade plan. All my guys in the Retire Early Club, although some of them will get out of the rat race before a decade, I try and instill in them, create a decade plan. And some of our guys in the Retire Early Club have gone further than that. And they've created a 100-year plan, because that's what you can actually do. You can plan for your financial future beyond your lifespan. You can plan for your kids and their kids and their kids. And some of our guys have gone that far. But for those getting in, rather than thinking to get rich quick, rather than being like, oh, I have to act now, what am I going to do? Make fast decisions. It's not the decisions that you make in the next 6 months that are going to affect if you retire early or not with Bitcoin. It's the decisions that you make in the next 6 years. And if you guys were here in 2020, you'll notice that, Jesus, Dinny's just talking all the same stuff again that he used to, because these lessons are timeless, but we get a new cohort of people. Okay, and perhaps back then you didn't listen to them because you thought you were smarter than me and you're going to outperform my strategy. But now you're older and wiser and have the battle scars and understanding to know Janie Dinny had a bit of wisdom in what he taught. And if I shoulda, woulda, coulda done what he said, things would be very different. And I don't say that to dig the sword in or the knife in. I just say it because there's a reason why we're doing this. There's a reason why we're Ireland's first consulting company in the Bitcoin space. And no one's done it as well as us, because our strategy just works. It has worked and it works. It's for those who put the work in, spend the time, and make the correct decisions. Don't be like most people right now. You'll notice, because there's loads of people on the stream, it's FOMO, it's emotions. These are terrible investors. You must invest on a thesis and a strategy, and you have to build up that thesis and build a really strong thesis. Bitcoin will crash, I guarantee you that. It's going to crash many, many, many times. But once you understand it, and use it correctly, you get happy when the price crashes, and you get happy when the price rallies. So you're happy all the time, which is a great place to be, isn't it? An amazing asset. The first thing I just want to do is draw your attention to Bitcoin. Here's Bitcoin. Let me just draw this dot so everyone can see it. Okay, and I'll put a little big. So that's the Bitcoin market. So for everyone who thinks they're late, okay, it's not a case of understanding what's the price. Oh, the price has gone up to $87,000. I'm late. It's nothing to do with the price. Okay, with Bitcoin, there's 21 million Bitcoin. That's all there can ever be. 21 million. Some amount of millions are lost. Maybe 5 million. Okay, lost. So the coins still exist. They just can't be spent. All right, it's like if a ship sinks and there's a chest of gold in it, and the gold is at the bottom of the ocean, too deep for submarines to get to. Well, it still exists. It just can never be spent, so it's effectively lost. So maybe 5 million Bitcoin are lost, gone. Okay, so that makes Bitcoin even scarcer. So the price of Bitcoin is irrelevant, because we've never had anything that's of fixed supply. Everything else that we have in this world is called manufactured scarcity. Okay, whether it's stocks or bonds or commodities, or collectibles, it's all sort of man-made physical scarcity. But like everything man-made, or should I say more correctly, physical, it's got flaws. Okay, and we've nothing truly scarce, because everything you can create more of. Okay, as the price goes up, humans are incentivized to create more of. Bitcoin is the first thing that, as the price goes up, you can't create any more. Okay, now I'm not going to go into how that works. I've done plenty of videos on it, and we can do it again if people like it or want it. But as the price of Bitcoin goes up, the higher the price goes, you can't create any more Bitcoin. So it's not like iPhones where you ring up and you go, make more, make loads of money. It's not like gold. Oh, gold's price went up there. Do you not remember gold's price went up there a couple of weeks ago? Well, what happened? More people mined gold. More people sold gold. Brought more gold to market. So Bitcoin is the first thing. And Bitcoin had two key inventions. The first one was digital scarcity. Previous to Bitcoin, there was no such thing as scarcity on the internet, because you could copy paste everything. You could replicate anything. Okay, so Bitcoin invented digital scarcity, and with that then it created the second thing, absolute scarcity. Now, if you don't currently own Bitcoin, you don't realize the enormity of those two things. Okay, because they're better than everything else. I've been given where's my CD? Probably lost it now at this stage. But Bitcoin is just like the transition from physical store of value, apartment blocks, to digital, the same way as a CD transitioned into Spotify, okay, or a filing cabinet transitioned into the cloud, or me having a meeting in a physical place transitioned into me just streaming on a software and being able to get to way more people way cheaper, and people can tune in from anywhere. So it's just better. When you digitize something, it just becomes better. Okay. And just for the benefit of new people here, I'm just going to say this, and don't take this like the wrong way, but you aren't that smart. Okay, so if you're trying to figure out Bitcoin, you've got reasons why Bitcoin won't work or you won't trust it. Believe you me, you're not that clever. A million people have already had that thought and solved that problem. It's just that you haven't found the information. So it's not that you've thought of something no one has thought about with Bitcoin. That hasn't happened. Okay? You're dead wrong. You just don't have the information yet. And I encourage you to find the information, because then you can make better decisions. Guys, do me a favor. We call it the daily exercise. All right? That's where I got those guns, by watching Bitcoin videos and hitting the like button. So what I'd ask you to do is find the like button on the screen. Give it a nice little press. If you're new here, we call it your daily exercise. So give me a storm of likes there. You see, I'm just going to share one thing before I move on and get back to this. But in the Retire Early Club, we had a message. Let me see if I can find it here now. I've got, like, in Retire Early Club, we've got 6 groups, all with different niches of the whole space. So the guys literally find everything. I won't find it there. But there's an Irish financial regulator, and when one of the guys was trying to mention Bitcoin, they kept deleting his messages. And then when he continued, they just blocked him from the whole account. You see, a lot of people are being kept in the dark about Bitcoin. My job for the last 5 years has been get as much Bitcoin into the hands of normal people, because they're the ones who need it. And all the rich people like David McWilliams, who'll bash it online, openly bash it, but then privately buy a load. You see, they're covered. All right. And that's why the information has been suppressed. And that's why me putting out these videos, you'll see the account. I've only got like 14,000 followers on Instagram. Let's try change that. Hit the algorithm, push the like button, put a comment in, and get this out to more people. Okay? Because that's your job as a Bitcoiner, is to explain Bitcoin to people. The algorithm suppress this. They don't want people to understand Bitcoin because it gives you freedom. And freedom gives you power. And remember, if you've been paying attention for the last 4 years, what are they doing? Taking away your freedom, reducing your power. Get it back. Okay? Bitcoin is freedom, and freedom's for everyone. So, thanks for the likes. But Bitcoin's here. I don't care that Bitcoin is 87k today. That makes no relevance when I'm trying to value it. If I'm trying to value something, I want to know the price is irrelevant. It's like, okay, so the price is set on the amount of users using it, or the amount of liquidity that sits inside the entire Bitcoin market cap. Now, can I get the market cap on this? I probably could. Should have been more organized. I think the Bitcoin market cap at the moment is maybe 1.6 trillion. Okay, 1.6 trillion off the top of my head. All right. So if I'm trying to figure out if an investment is worth my while or what, I'm like, okay, the market cap today is 1.6 trillion. What's the potential for this market cap? Where can this market cap potentially go? Rather than just looking at the price and going, okay, the price is this. How far can the price go? That's irrelevant. It doesn't matter. You focus on the market cap, the entire amount of money that sits in Bitcoin, and the entire amount of money that may sit in Bitcoin in the future. That's how you create a valuation on it. Okay, so at the moment there's 1.6 trillion in the Bitcoin market cap, and there's Bitcoin. But when we have a look at Bitcoin compared to maybe the stock market, there's the stock market, and that's 200 trillion. That box should be bigger, shouldn't it, guys? Where's the duster? That box should be bigger. Bitcoin's only a baby. I probably drew Bitcoin too big. Okay, so the stock market here, I'll go round. The stock market, what's the stock market worth? Does anyone know? Is it 150 trillion? Okay, now at the moment, loads of people own stocks. And how are they performing? Not as good as Bitcoin. Okay, so all of this market is doing terrible compared to this market. So some people, smart people, maybe you're watching, maybe it's some of our community, are selling stocks to buy Bitcoin. So money is moving from this to Bitcoin. Okay, but we've 150 trillion here in this. And Bitcoin's only, how many times did Bitcoin double in value to get to 1.6 trillion? How many times did it double? So imagine if another trillion comes in. Will you miss it from the stock market if the stock market goes to 149 trillion? Will it make any difference to the stock market? Not really. Like, what happens if 50 trillion goes into Bitcoin from the stock market? Is it likely? Like, I think it is. People like to make money, and why would you hold things that aren't making money? If you actually look at it, this is interesting. The CEO of, what's it called? Sotheby's or some massive art dealership. He was 57. There's a cool video of him. We were sharing it in our Charlie Club. And he started to study Bitcoin at age 57. He was already a multimillionaire or billionaire. I can't remember. Very, very wealthy. This is high-end art. He went down the rabbit hole of Bitcoin and he understood. He was like, if the money printer prints 8 to 10% per year and the S&P index, the average price stocks are going up as 8 to 10% a year, well, no value was actually created. It's just that the money printer repriced the assets. So it's not, so none of the so it's like it was a head scratch moment from like, holy crap, all my life I thought I was an amazing investor, and it's just a money printer going burr that's actually making these investments go up. But Bitcoin does way better than that, you see. Bitcoin beats, this is called currency debasement. All right. Most people have heard of inflation, but they don't understand currency debasement. Every single day, European Central Bank are my enemy. They're also your enemy. Because the reason why your cost of living keeps increasing is because the European Central Bank keep creating more euros. Okay? So that's not a cool thing to do. If I create more euros, what happens to me? I go to jail if I counterfeit them. but they're counterfeiting them all the time. And that's why a coffee today is costing whatever it is, €5 in some places. And I remember only a few short years ago paying 120 for a coffee. Coffee's still the same, it hasn't changed. It's just the value of my currency was diluted. This is currency debasement. Okay, so don't worry if you didn't get this. There's multimillionaires and billionaires who never actually got it until they studied Bitcoin. And that's the beauty of studying Bitcoin. By studying Bitcoin, it explains how money actually works. And most people tomorrow, they're going to go and exchange their time for money. All right, and they're going to spend 10,000 hours of their life working. 10,000. And most people will never even spend 10 hours trying to figure out how to keep the money that they've exchanged all their time for. I was one of those people for a lot of my life. And once I went down the Bitcoin rabbit hole and understood it, I was like, I will never work the same again. Because there's no point. And life becomes a lot easier once you understand this. So the stock market's 150 trillion. What about the bond market? The elephant in the room. That's even bigger, lads, okay? Is it 200 or 300 trillion? I don't know, but it doesn't matter, okay? Bond market's 200. Okay, so it's 100 times bigger than Bitcoin, over 100 times bigger than Bitcoin at the moment. Now, in case you didn't notice, traditionally you were told, oh yeah, give me your money, we're going to invest it, we're going to buy 40% bonds, 60% stock market, 60-40 mix. That's what your financial advisor will tell you if you go and see him tomorrow. Even though that hasn't worked in years, they will still tell you that. Okay, and more fool you if you give up the opportunity after seeing these videos and seeing what's really happening, okay? Because that doesn't work. The whole bond market, the banks now are sitting on the biggest amount of unrealized losses that they ever have, much bigger than 2008. So this thing is underwater, okay? You think some of this wealth is going to try and move into Bitcoin, where you don't have any of that risk, you're de-risked from the traditional financial system, you get to go to an alternate financial system. So rather than trusting people, bankers, okay, you just trust physics and maths and code. Now, I know a lot of you don't understand Bitcoin yet, but essentially that's what you're trusting. Which would you rather trust, a person or physics? People can change their mind. Physics is the same. The sun will rise in the morning, no matter what you say or think or want. Okay, so I trust physics better. So if some of this capital moves into this tiny little Bitcoin thing, what happens to the price? How many multiples? Remember, we're 1.6, this is 200, this is 150. Maybe these numbers are off. I haven't visited them in a while, but it doesn't matter. I'm just trying to show you how early it is. Okay? Remember, the reason why most people don't own Amazon, okay, and Bezos is one of the richest men in the world, and also Bill Miller. Bill Miller is a massive Bitcoin bull, okay? But he also got Amazon right. Amazon crashed 80% 5 times. Bill held on to it. So did the owner of Amazon. What the hell's his name? Oh, Jeff. Good old Jeffrey. Okay? That's why he's the richest man in the world. He didn't sell it. What other markets is there? Property market. That's a biggie. What about property? Here, give me another pen. I don't know if you can see it. I just can't see the line down there. I drew it a second ago with a permanent marker. Boo-boo. Okay, look. Property market. It's even bigger. This is 300 trillion. Okay, that's bonds. Property market's 300 trillion. Now, at our offices in Swords, all this year, okay, we've had customers coming in and they're selling physical property. They're sick of it. Okay, oh, the math's backwards. Tough. You just have to listen to me, so forgot about that. We have, maybe some phones are flipping it. I have a couple of phones here. Property market is 300 trillion. Bitcoin is 1.6. Okay. Now, if I'm a property investor, I don't want to live in the property. I don't need to. I have my own house. This is my house and I live in it. But if I'm a property investor, I own property for only 2 reasons. Just 2 reasons. That's it. One is capital appreciation, because the cost of houses, commercial or residential or property in general, cost goes up over time. It always has, it always will. Why? Because the European Central Bank keep printing euros. Didn't you listen earlier? They're just devaluing the currency. It's not that the houses are getting better. You can live in it for 10 years and it's worth way more than when you bought it. Like, it's, there's no one asking why. No one does. So, capital appreciation. But Bitcoin does capital appreciation. In fact, property is appreciating at about 10% a year. Bitcoin's doing like somewhere between 150. So it's like way better. Okay, I'm interested. Oh no, but with physical property, you can get cash flow off it. You can do that with Bitcoin as well. Oh no, but you can borrow against your asset with physical property. With Bitcoin, you can also do that. So Bitcoin does everything that an investor wants from physical property. It's just a digital version. Okay? So the same way, there's no filing cabinets in offices anymore because they use the cloud. Well, in the future, like investing into property, physical property, that was the way to invest in the 20th century. But the 21st century will be Bitcoin. All right? Because it's just digital, and digital things just take over because they're better. With a digital property, you can move it anywhere in the world. It's not concreted into the ground. Okay, the local county council can't change the rules and start charging more tax. You can just move it. Okay, so you don't have to. There's no upkeep cost to it. It doesn't deteriorate over time. All right. So the digital property is far superior. So with that rationale, you would agree that 300 trillion of the property market and Bitcoin is 1.6 trillion. Perhaps some of that is going to continue to flow into Bitcoin. And again, I say to you, the price of Bitcoin doubled how many times to get to 1.6, like one decimal place 0.6? What happens when 5% of the 300 trillion of the property market flows into Bitcoin? What happens when 10%, 15 and 20? Because that's how Bitcoin works. It's just as more people learn and understand it and do the work and spend the time studying it to realize that everything they thought they knew, they weren't that smart because it's all been covered by people much smarter than them many years ago. And they scratch their head and go, holy crap, this is just another digital transition. I got to get in. All right. So the property market, some of that is going to move to Bitcoin. The bond market, some of that is moving to Bitcoin. The stock market, some of that is moving to Bitcoin. Then we've gold, good old gold. Bitcoin is digital gold. So what's the gold market worth? 10 trillion. Some of that is 20 trillion. Who knows? Some of that is moving to Bitcoin. Why? Because Bitcoin's better. Similar to gold, okay? Bitcoin is auditable, but like if you have a gold coin, there's a silver coin there. Okay, but you don't know it's real. You'd have to have specialist equipment to test it. Bitcoin, you don't have any of that. If I send you a Bitcoin transaction, the fact that it's gone across the Bitcoin rails means it's been audited. Okay, because remember, the Bitcoin is the largest supercomputer on the planet. There is no larger supercomputer than Bitcoin. And Bitcoin works on a concept, okay, of power projection. That's what makes it so powerful. So if you want to break Bitcoin or scam Bitcoin, you need more power than Bitcoin. At the moment, because Bitcoin has been built out at such a large scale and it's the most powerful supercomputer on the planet, if we repurpose all these phones in front of me and this laptop and everything that Google and Amazon has and fire that Bitcoin to try and break it, we're 3.5 Earths short, according to Michael Saylor. There's just not enough power on the planet. So when people say, I don't trust Bitcoin, Bitcoin could go away, they just have no idea what they're talking about, because it's like this, okay? We're here in my office. There's £1 million sitting in front of us, and it's just me and you. All right, so we're looking at each other. Now, there's no laws. This is just a little analogy to help you understand power projection. There's £1 million on the table. We both want it. We both need it. And there is no law, okay? How do we figure out who gets it? Well, whoever's strongest gets it. We're going to fight for it. And whoever can exert more power gets to have it. That's how all of nature works. Watch any animal or insect. They're just exerting power projection constantly. Okay? But check this out. Let's say I have a gun and you don't. Sorry, Instagram keeps knocking off. So let's say I have a gun and you don't. Well, now I'm able to project more power than you. Okay? So I get the $1 million. And there's nothing you can say or do to change that. It's just I have more power, so I get my way. Bitcoin has more power than everything. The only way to break it is to come at it with even more power, but you're 3.5 Earths short. So you want to check yourself before you wreck yourself and figure out what you should really trust. So all this capital has to flow into Bitcoin over time. Apologies, they're backwards. I forgot about that. As I say, I haven't done the whiteboard video in a while. I probably used to turn the phones around. Maybe some of them are flipped around the right way. No, they all look backwards, I think. Bleeding androids. The Apples used to flip it for me. But you get the idea, okay? But the main point is, forget about what's going to happen. If you just stumbled across this video, or you've been watching my videos for months or years and you've never took action, and now Bitcoin is rallying and ripping your attention to it, and now you're FOMO and you have to get in now, I would say, yeah, study the thing, educate yourself, but create a 10-year plan rather than I need to act really fast, okay? Because you have a journey. The journey into Bitcoin is like this. Look, how low can we go? It's a load of steps, Okay, all the way. Now, what most people do is they try and jump to this one and then they fall back down and then they go back to the start again and then they try and skip again, they fall back down. So they get nowhere. They just lose money over time. That's why the most valuable investment you will make on Bitcoin is your education. That's why, and I mentioned it a million times, I'll mention it a million times more. Everything we do in our Retirely Club is the best investment all these people made. Right? Not because it's magic, because you're in a community of like-minded people. You're getting to go through all my courses so that you don't have to make all the mistakes and waste all your time. Okay? But take your time, create a plan, create a decade plan, study Bitcoin, understand Bitcoin. I'll help you along the way. I'll help you with everything you can do. But today, right now, it looks to me like every single person on the planet who owns Bitcoin is now in profit. And that's a beautiful thing. And that's always the way with Bitcoin. It's just a case of time. All right. So when you understand that Bitcoin is 1.6 trillion and in the world is 900 trillion, 900 of inferior assets, of things that aren't scarce, and it's all going to find its way into Bitcoin eventually. It's not going to happen overnight. Bitcoin is going to continue to go like this. Look. It's going to run, it's going to crash, and it's going to run, it's going to crash. Okay? But like, if you're into charting, that's what you want. Something that's going up with volatility. The volatility is what gives you, once you understand it, it helps you because you love it when it crashes. If it's being monetized, if you understand that, well, if this is just like the Netflix of DVDs, well, everyone's going to use the feckin' things because digital media is just way better than physical media. And it doesn't matter if everybody doesn't use it, okay? Because with 0.01% of the world using it, Bitcoin has been the highest performing asset on the planet. What happens when 1% decides to use a digital version? 2, 4, 6, 8. Like, we don't have to get to Bitcoin is the world reserve currency and I can go and buy coffee with it. Absolutely not. Like, there's not a single person in my Retirely Club might tell them to go and buy coffee with their Bitcoin. Absolutely not. We use euros. Euros go down in value. Spend them. Get rid of them. Treat your Bitcoin differently. Bitcoin becomes our savings vehicle where we don't have to trust anyone. I'm not giving my money to a money manager or a financial advisor where I don't know what's happening with my money. And I'm taking all the risk and they make sometimes between 1 and 2/3 of the profit they get. And you take all the risk and then you pay tax on it later. Come on, folks. Think outside the box here. If you're going to take the risk, you should get 100% of the upside. That's how I would see it. And that's why I've taught people. That's why I never believed in regular pensions. I was like, when I was pitched them years ago, I was like, nah, just give me the money. I'm going to invest into myself. I'm going to make myself work more. And then I'll build my own pension. Well, right. And it used to be really difficult. But Bitcoin is just, it's democratized pensions. Okay. And that just means it's made it simple for everybody. Everybody can do this now. Okay, fair enough. You might need to come and pay a Bitcoin consultant like me to speak to us. But in 90 minutes, you've everything you need to know for the rest of your life. And then you just go and retire yourself early and never need us. Unlike the traditional system where we're going to take every single week, every month for the rest of your life, and we get 2/3 of the profit. That's the traditional system. You took all the risk, we get 2/3 of the profit. No thanks. With a Bitcoin pension, it takes a little bit to learn, but you'd be glad you did. And for all you folks who've got kids, take this seriously, unless you want them living with you your entire life. Because look at the way the property market is running away from them. It's harder than ever for them to get on it. Those who recognize the transition from physical property to digital property, or from physical gold to digital gold, okay, these people will have a more comfortable future, potentially. I can't guarantee anything. As I said, nothing is financial advice. You have to do your own work. But all I can say is every single person on the planet who owns Bitcoin today is wealthier than when they bought it. And some are much wealthier. And some it only took 4 years. So that's why you should really take it seriously. Study Bitcoin, understand Bitcoin. Bitcoin is freedom. It's much more than just a financial thing. It's a thesis. It's there's a whole philosophy behind Bitcoin. It changed your life. And I see that constantly with all the people I work with. It totally changes who they are as people for the better, always for the better. Because when you know your future is going to be better than your past or your present, you're able to live in the present in a better way because you expect your future to be better. Whereas when you live in our traditional world where, governments are going to do government things, they're going to tax you more, they're going to take away your freedom, they're going to put you into the digital euro, they're going to flood your country with dangerous people, or not flood, but they're going to let loads of dangerous people in, whether you like it or not. They're going to do that. Okay? The world becomes scary. The future becomes bleak. You worry about the financial future. Once you understand Bitcoin, it changes you right now, because you mightn't be retired or wealthy, but you see it working for you, and you see it working for other people around you. And that gives you hope for your future, and you're able to plan for your kids and their kids. And it's a beautiful thing. And then you have people like McWilliams thinking it's all about just crypto bros trying to get rich. Fair enough, there is crypto bros trying to get rich, okay? But there's also just normal people. And mostly what I see is, in our retirement club, can't think of any crypto bros, mainly just normal people who are trying to improve and have more time with their family and set their kids up for a better future than they had. And that's a beautiful thing. And that's the beauty of Bitcoin. That's why I'm passionate about it. It's awesome, okay? So what happens after here? You know, the price is going to continue to run, in my opinion, and it's going to crash, but it's going to continue to run. And then we'll have a massive crash. But possibly that doesn't come for 6 months, 8 months, 12 months. I don't know when, I don't care. Won't make a difference. When and if it happens, maybe we'll make different moves. But until now, it's stick to the strategy. And just make sure the Bitcoin is secure. I'll speak about that in another video. Hope you got a little bit of value. We've 80 people watching on YouTube. I like those numbers. They're good numbers. 39 likes though. Got to work on the daily exercise, folks. If you haven't done your daily exercise, go and press the like button now, please. And if you have, thank you very much. We appreciate the daily exercise. Instagrammers, thank you very much. Facebookers, thank you very much. I'm looking forward. I'll check out all the questions later, because I don't think I can do it while I'm on it. So we can't. Hi, Dinny. Yeah, can't really see. Don't want to go fiddling at the phones. I'll just start falling over. So yeah, I'll have a read of the questions and I'll answer them in the next video. Maybe I'll go live on something else and I'll be able to do the questions as I'm live. But guys, have a super day. I'm going to go for a walk now. W-A-L-K. It's free and it's amazing. Have a super evening. Dinny out. Thanks for being here. And stick your questions in the comments and I will definitely check them out. And I'll either answer them by typing or I'll address them on my next video. And on the next video, maybe I will get the writing correct where I turn the phones around. But then I can't see myself. It's hard. It's tough. Hope you have a super evening, guys. Thanks everyone for being here. Study Bitcoin. If you need Bitcoin resources or you need a free Bitcoin consultation, jump onto my website, book in with Asgard, or go onto my Instagram and hit the link tree and you'll be able to book in with Asgard. But if you're only finding Bitcoin now, you're certainly not late. Hopefully, if you've seen showed you there, it's certainly not late. I believe Bitcoin is the best pension you can create, but I'd encourage you to study it. And that's sort of what we do, is we just provide people with all the education so they can have a better understanding of the thing and not make mistakes. Remember, if someone contacts you and they're going to trade for you, or you think it's me, or they're going to do the work for you, all right, where you just send them money and they're showing you pictures that you've made loads of money, you're being scammed. You need to warn your family and friends, because as we go into this bull market, loads of new people are going to get scammed, okay? And especially for my Bitcoiners among us here who are experienced, check in with your family and friends, all right? They're going to be too embarrassed because you were telling them all through the bear market, buy Bitcoin, study Bitcoin, and they didn't listen. And now when we go into the price running stage, they're going to want to do it, but they're going to be too embarrassed to ask you, okay? But still, check in with them. Say, by the way, have you been buying Bitcoin? Just to make sure they're not going to get scammed, because so many people get scammed. Every week I get so many phone calls and they're all heartbreaking, okay? And they're just people who are, think they're doing the right thing, but they're going to get into Bitcoin or crypto and they just end up getting scammed, okay? That's why I say prioritize your education, look after your friends and family, and yeah, it's going to be cool. I look forward to having a few lives with you guys and having a bit of crack and doing a Q&A session. So yeah, make sure you're subscribed and I'll talk to you all soon. Dinny out.